From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MVW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
And broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. We will talk more Ole Miss football as Cal comes into town 11 a.m. Saturday morning at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. Also a lot at rebelgrove.com this morning, so head on over, check that out. You've got a mailbag up for Mr. McCready, sponsored by the Westin in Jackson. I took a deep dive into Matt Corral analytics this morning. We've got a Q&A with the Cal rival site as well. So a good day to head on over. Check out things at rebelgrove.com. Subscribe if you have not. You're going to need a subscription for at least one of those items. So I recommend that. It's cheaper than a lunch one day a month. So take advantage. Go over there, hang out, converse, all those good things with rebelgrove.com. And when you're coming into town this weekend, check out the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford daiquiris. As little as $3.99, as big as 44 ounces if you'd like a lot of daiquiri. Just don't put the straw in until you get settled somewhere off the road. Lunch specials, $4.99. You know you can take your stadium cup in, get a fountain drink refill for 49 cents. Bottomless refills there with Blue Sky locations throughout Mississippi. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. That's how it works. It's just fast. It's efficient. It's easy. It's very professional. You get your quote, and then it's up to you. They're not going to harass you. You get your quote. You can shop that thing around all you want. It's your prerogative. Or you can do what I've done several times, and I'm nothing but 1,000% pleased, and that is you'll get into a Ford vehicle from Clark Ford. You'll love the product. You will absolutely love the service. They'll take care of you long after the sale is complete, long after you take the car off the lot. Corey wants to be your truck guy. He wants to be your car guy, and he'll prove it to you. 662-257-1900. And you mentioned the Westin Jackson. I'll go ahead and just tell you about that. The mailbag's up. It's brought to you by the Westin Jackson. It's a Marriott property in downtown Jackson. It is home to Soul Spa. It is also home to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro. So check it out. If you're passing through Jackson, if you're staying in Jackson, if you're doing business in Jackson, if you're just taking a luxurious or relaxing weekend, getting away from the kids, and you just want to hang out at a hotel for a weekend, that would be the absolute perfect place to go. They'll take great care of you at the Westin Jackson in downtown Jackson.
I hate we did not get to this on yesterday's podcast. We had some, actual things discussed, like chancellors and attendance and whatnot. I need a video of this shrimp eating contest at the University of Indiana. Sorry, Indiana University. Did you see this in our Twitter yesterday?
I did not.
Okay. Got a tweet yesterday from Alex who says, IU has a new in-game activity during a first quarter commercial break, and it's sponsored by St. Elmo's, a shrimp eating contest on the field at IU football games.
Oh, wow.
I mean, to me, that's a little lowbrow. I mean, are you telling me you don't have to be a shill for the NCAA to get St. Elmo's? You can just go to an IU football game and get picked? And you get all you can eat shrimp cocktail? Is
it shrimp cocktail or just shrimp?
I believe it's cocktail. So the link goes to a Reddit page for Shutdown Fullcast, which is a pretty popular podcast, and it says the worst activities ever programmed during a game is the category. And then this person says, this is from 2 days ago, said went to the IU OSU game yesterday, and we hit a TV timeout early in the first half. They then proceed to bring out some folding tables and chairs into the end zone, maybe 5 to 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, and announce that we're about to have a shrimp cocktail eating contest in extremely landlocked Bloomington, Indiana, of all places. They started this late and proceeded to have the contest abruptly and early with approximately 15 to 20 people, contestants, officials, cheerleaders, all running off with various chairs, tables, goblets of shrimp cocktail, and the tablecloth in 10 different directions while the officials barked at them to clear out.
Why would you not do that at halftime?
I don't hate it. I just like making fun of St. Elmo's, but
I don't hate it at all. I have no idea about the Indiana University Marching Hoosier Band or whatever it's called. I got to think more people would be interested in the shrimp eating contest than they would the band.
You think so? You think we should move this to halftime? Are we missing something by not having competitive eating competitions at halftime of football games?
I would watch.
Hot dogs, brisket, Crystal burgers, of course.
I would watch.
Mayonnaise, how many jars?
Oh, stop.
Could you watch that too?
Oh, I'd have to leave.
I told you, I've shown you that girl who ate like 6 gallons of it in 4 minutes.
I'm aware.
Okay.
I'm aware of it and every snake video that ever gets out on Twitter.
I think she might have taken bananas and just dumped them in the mayonnaise and ate them.
Yeah.
I think so. I think we're missing something. I think they get on the horn with Michael and them. I think we need competitive eating contests at halftime.
I think you could do it instead of the band and nobody would notice.
Really?
More people would stay and watch.
You think so?
I do. And I'm not picking on the band. I'm just being honest.
I think we know a guy at Crystal. We could probably get this done.
That would work. A Crystal. How many Crystal?
Yeah, how many little Crystal burgers can you eat? Chicks, pups, whatever.
Yeah.
Jeffrey might want to get involved if it's the pups. He's big onto those.
Jeffrey doesn't strike me as the competitive eating sort.
The quantity would be an issue.
Yeah, I don't know that he's the type to say, "Hey, give me 40 and let me see what I can knock out."
I've still not been able to convince any media member at baseball to try a hot dog eating contest and let me video it just for the heck of it. When you can do those dollar dog nights and we get the $10 coupons. Could bring 10 hot dogs up into that thing.
I just don't know who would want to do that.
Yeah, well, hey, it's about content, McCready.
Yeah, I understand.
Just saying.
No one's stopping you.
No, thank you. I'm good. I'm not averse to hot dogs. I'm not one of those people that's grossed out because of how the sausage is made, but it's not something... I'll never get up and go, hey, today I really want a hot dog.
No, Carson loves hot dogs. He likes them grilled, and so I will grill hot dogs for him frequently, and he'll get that chili sauce, like the Hormel chili sauce, and some cheese, and they do look really good. And every once in a while, I'm really tempted to have one. But no, I'm the same way. I don't ever get up and go, I really would like hot dogs today.
Also on Twitter yesterday, just pointing this out because somebody else sent this to me as well. I got a huge laugh at this. So this is Anchor of Gold. It is the Vanderbilt SB Nation site. And in all caps, they tweet this out. Says, reminder to all LSU fans visiting this weekend, your alcohol purchases fund additional scholarships for the Vanderbilt baseball team. Think before you drink. And what's the best part of that joke is I sat there for like 10 seconds because of Vanderbilt's weird scholarship stuff and went, are they telling the truth or not? And it was like, no, it's a joke. But if Vanderbilt's the one place where you're not real sure. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. Okay. So, that was my Twitter yesterday. Well, there was a lot more on Twitter, but that's all I'm going to talk about. Our frequent listener, Sam Wells, did point out that when I was talking about that 2013 game, that was Ole Miss's only home game in the first 5 weeks of the season that year. They had a lot of road games early in the year.
Yeah, I mean, look, attendance is down everywhere.
It is. And that was the point yesterday, was it becomes a relative argument more than just a normal argument.
Yeah, I had this conversation with someone just a little while ago this morning. I'm hesitant to even go here because people are really worked up right now.
Just in general?
In general.
Okay.
People are angry. I think I'm right. There's a lot of residual anger directed at a lot of people, and they're all gone, and it's being channeled toward Matt Luke because he's right there. I've had people tell me, well, this California game, it is critical. It is critical. And I think, look, it's a big game, and I get it. but it's not critical. It's big, and if they lose, I think the wheels get set in motion for what could be a very difficult last part of the season in a number of ways. Attendance, morale, all of those things. But if they win Saturday, I don't know that truly change. I mean, the program's the same on Sunday morning, one way or the other. And so it's not critical. I don't think they're – I told you this yesterday. I've said this for a while. I don't believe there is a scenario in place where change occurs at the end of this season. And frankly, I don't think change would be all that fair. And screw that, scratch that, forget fair. I don't think it would be smart. If you told me that a loss Saturday led to decreased morale and bad attendance, and then they didn't finish the season well, and then they started next season with a series of losses, and let's face it, next season this team could be better and have a worse record after 5 games.
Yeah, critical stretch is not this season. It's the first 5 games of next season.
If you told me that a loss Saturday led to an inevitability next year, I'd buy it. Fair enough.
Knock the ball off the mountain that potentially starts rolling downhill.
Where you can't stop it.
The avalanche came loose.
But a win Saturday doesn't necessarily take that scenario off the page either.
No, this season's about pulse points. You beat Arkansas, so you breathe for 2 weeks. You play Cal, you try to win that one, so then you breathe for 2 weeks. You play Vanderbilt, and you try to breathe for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's these little segments that just start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And that's the problem with the fan base is there's no long range trust where it's like, hey, 12 weeks, we're going to show up, we're going to do this, we're excited, we're all in. No, it's little prove it to me spots along the way.
But that's where a lot of the other stuff that's happening is being channeled at. It's hard to get pissed off at an interim chancellor. Hard to get pissed off at an interim AD. It's impossible to really take out your frustration on the old chancellor.
Of course.
So there's no one to really direct it at. Like, I got people that are like, hey, what's this Mr. Ole Miss? What's it called? Mr. Ole Miss?
No,
or
Homecoming King.
Ole Miss,
There's always been a Mr. Ole Miss.
Yeah, what's Homecoming King? Like, what's that about? I'm like, I don't know.
Who
Beats
cares?
me. Yeah, and then it's, a lot of the statue stuff. Why don't they just move the damn thing and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But a lot of that stuff, that anger is not even the right word. Frustration, just kind of like bewilderment. I think a lot of that stuff just gets sort of channeled towards football. Because if they lose Saturday, here's why they're going to lose Saturday if they lose Saturday. A veteran defense known for throwing a lot of looks, creating turnovers, and confusing quarterbacks does just that to a redshirt freshman. That's why. That's why. It'll have nothing to do with anything else. It'll be that. Or something along those lines. And if they win Saturday, it won't be because of anything other than they put together a plan that got the ball out of Corral's hands. They got some momentum going in the running game, and the defense shut down what is a very average, and that might be putting it nicely, Cal offense that very well might be without its starting tailback.
And their offensive line is a train wreck.
Their offensive line these are two offensive lines that would love the opportunity to go into a free agent market.
Yeah. Frankly, Ole Miss might have the better offensive line in this game.
Certainly possible. So, so when people say, boy, this California game, man, there's, and I mean, it's the perfect headline to write the column. The biggest game for Matt Luke, California, no doubt about it. I mean, ha. But it's misleading. It's not true. It's just not true. It's an important game. But it's only important in the scenario in which you're trying to figure out a way to get to a bowl game. It's really difficult if Ole Miss loses to Cal to get to 6. It's a lot easier to get to 6 if Ole Miss beats Cal because they still get Vanderbilt, which I think is a win, and they get New Mexico State, which is a win.
So you find one.
You're at 5, and now you've got multiple opportunities to steal one. Columbia, Starkville, Texas A&M at home. That's probably it. But those 3, get a shot at one of those 3, and if you get one of those 3, you go to a bowl game, and if you don't, you don't. And everybody bitches and moans about Memphis. And in reality, you're not going to lose a recruit. You're not, because you didn't go to a bowl game and you went 5-7. You're just not. It doesn't work like that. They build relationships and stuff. Firing the coaching staff and unloading the coaching staff in the late November with nobody really to conduct a search properly is the way you destroy a recruiting class. That's how you do it.
The next game where I think we go into it going, hey, this is a really big game for the program is Baylor, the first game of next season.
Yes. Completely agree.
If you win, okay, 2-0, and then you get kind of 3 free shots in a way, and you see what happens. You lose that, and there's this possibility of a 1-4 start next season.
Yeah, there's no question.
Alabama, Auburn, and LSU are in the first 5 games next year.
Yeah, you get Alabama here, and then you go to LSU, and then you get Auburn here, and that's tough. Yeah. 3 programs that right now are ranked in the top 10
12 in the country, yeah.
Are they Auburn's 8th right now?
Are they really?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. So 3 programs that right now are ranked 2, 4, and 8 nationally in back-to-back-to-back weeks. That's tough sledding. So yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the next people say, what's the biggest game? That Baylor game next year's big. There's no way around that. That's an off-season topic that we'll probably talk about forever, and there will be no running from it for anyone. It will be a huge perception game.
It will.
But I think it's the next one that's that way, assuming wins over the New Mexico States of the world.
Well, yeah, I mean, barring some train wreck.
Yeah, where a loss Saturday is potentially dangerous for a program is it's followed up with the nationally televised game at Alabama that anybody who watches Alabama knows that game could go bad because those games go bad for everybody. I mean, hell, they could blow out good teams. So you get that, and then you come home, and then you get into the attendance thing. There's nobody, and I'm using the word
in a game that will feel like a must-win against Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of people there, and maybe that one is uninspired or you're beat up, and then you follow that with I think they go to
Missouri.
It's a tough game. It's probably winnable, but it's if you were to put odds on it today, I think you'd make Missouri a touchdown favorite. And then you get A&M and Auburn and those kind of games that are hard, and the thing just spirals, and they play New Mexico State, and there's nobody there. That's where this goes. I think beating Cal slows that down. But it doesn't change the fact that this is still it is the bill-paying year. Because it's the bill-paying year. It just is.
So, We'll see, Cal. 11 o'clock on Saturday for that one again. It's a very winnable game, but I mean, you gotta score, and that Cal defense is pretty good. We'll go get into a little more of that in a second. First, tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. Your local underwriting that understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and with rates as low as they've been in about 2 years. It's a good time to call Jason 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Celebrate 125 seasons of Ole Miss football with this exclusive offer. Pick one conference game and one non-conference game, which includes parking for just $125. For more information, visit OleMissTix.com. Join the Rebel football team back in the vault on Saturday as they host the Cal Golden Bears at 11 a.m. Tickets still remain and can be purchased by visiting OleMissTix.com. The 2019-20 Ole Miss Hoops season just around the corner. Don't miss any of the action of Coach Yo's women's basketball team and Coach Kermit Davis's men's team this season in the pavilion. For tickets, visit OleMissTix.com. And the Ole Miss soccer team begins SEC play at home on Friday as they take on the Missouri Tigers at 7 p.m. Admission is free, so bring the family out and enjoy some Rebel soccer. Speaking of coming to town this weekend, if you are looking to do some tailgating, there's still some time to set it up with 7 South Tailgating. They are the premier tailgating service provider at Ole Miss. They offer your standard tailgating services, but they offer so much more. They have cooler, ice, beverage service, TV, satellite generator service, storage bins for supplies and decor, chandeliers, tablecloths. Pretty much anything that's legal, they can hook it up for you there at 7 South. For the items that you plan to bring yourself on game day, they have a staff on site to assist you in unloading upon your arrival. You can rent from them everything. So go online or call today for a detailed quote customized to your specific needs, 662-321-1682, or visit 7southtailgating.com. Score big points with your kids by signing them up for Oxford Park Commission Youth Basketball. Registration now open for leagues serving ages 5 to 15. The cost is $50 per child. There are discounts available for families with multiple players. The deadline to sign up is October the 4th, so visit oxfordparkcommission.com for more details or to sign up. And we're brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB has a commercial checking account now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. It comes with fully interactive online banking. They can set up any local business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry with coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
Podcast is brought to you by Visit Oxford. Go to visitoxfordms.com/events to see all the things going on this week locally, including South Talks lectures today at the Tupelo Room, the Bernard Observatory, the Great Oxonian Exposition tomorrow at the Powerhouse, Thacker Mountain Radio every Thursday night from 6 to 7:30 for that, and much, much more. You can bookmark it. You can keep up to date with everything going on in Oxford, including where to stay, where to eat, full list of businesses, and more there with visitoxfordms.com/events. So, I'm not going to give all this away. I'm going to tease it a little bit. Going to kind of open up some conversations, do it a little bit. Went this morning and looked through a lot of numbers for Matt Corral, kind of what has caused some differences of opinion, I think would be a fair way to put it, with the fan base through 3 games of his play. Frankly, what's his fault, what's not his fault, and the answer is that it's complicated with a lot of things. It's not one reason why the offense hasn't necessarily been spectacular. You went to practice yesterday. I've got today. Braylon Sanders is returning this week. Is that correct, Neil?
He was back at practice, and they are optimistic that he will play on Saturday. It's a hamstring, and so whenever there's a hamstring, you do have to bring people back slowly. But I think the plan is for him to play. Now, can he go the entire game? Is he going to be 100%? Those are all questions that I don't know that anyone can really answer just yet.
So here's the part I will give away, and here's what I find interesting. So Pro Football Focus does a really good job of breaking down quarterbacks who throw to their primary read and how they do with that, and then how they throw to secondary reads, and they do that by timing it. And essentially, they separate all of the dropbacks and all of the throws over or less than 2.5 seconds from the dropback time to the time the ball is thrown. And with Corral, huge difference in numbers here. Starting with when he's in the pocket for less than 2.5 seconds, meaning he throws the ball in less than 2.5 seconds from the snap. He ranks 4th in the SEC out of 18 because basically I filtered it down to the quarterbacks in the league who had thrown a certain number of passes. So we'll go with 18 for the stat. Instead it was 32 instead. So anyway, 122.9 NFL passer rating, completing 77.1% of his throws when he makes a quick decision and throws to his first read in less than 2.5 seconds. He's thrown 3 touchdowns, no picks, and that's out of 48 attempts so far. Really, really good numbers, up there with anybody in the league. He has hit his main target far more than he is not. He's a good quarterback in that scenario. When Corral holds the ball for more than 2.5 seconds, they dip. He's got 36 dropbacks, 25 attempts. He's completing 36% of his passes with a 56.4 NFL passer rating. That's 13 out of 17 in the SEC for that number. He's also been sacked 6 times while holding the ball for more than 2.5 seconds. That leads the league. Also, the 2 sacks for when he's held the ball for less than 2.5 seconds also lead the league. So, a lot more numbers. I go much more in depth, but I'm not going to give any more away for the most part. But that kind of sets up my thing here. Look, is Matt Corral going through his progressions? Well, no. Rich Rodriguez talked about it on Saturday. He talked about it last Monday. He's made a point to mention Matt has to get better with that, and I'm sure some of that is on the quarterback.
Yeah, Matt Corral talked about this last night as well. Yeah. Okay.
So that's going on. Here's the other part of this, though, too. The offensive line is not protecting as well as other offensive lines in the league. He is probably feeling pressure at that 2.5 second mark for the most part, and that is causing some of this because through Pro Football Focus, they're showing that he's actually extending his time in the pocket for about a second with his feet. He has about 2.5 or 3 seconds normally to throw the football, and then he's staying in the pocket for about 4 seconds on average because he can move around with his feet a little bit doing that. So it's part of that, but the part that's more troubling to me, if I'm an Ole Miss fan, is the wide receivers. He simply can't find anyone not named Elijah Moore, and the stat that points that out here, and again, a lot more here, go check it out, rebelgrove.com, I'm just sort of teasing it. But when he throws to Elijah Moore, his passer rating is 152.4 out of 158 perfect. Moore has the 4th most targets in the SEC. The next person on a passer rating when thrown to from Ole Miss, Jonathan Mingo in the SEC at number 75, 61.1. Whereas Elijah Moore is targeted on more than 30% of his routes this season. That's 3rd in the SEC with players of at least 50 routes run. He's just throwing to Elijah Moore. He doesn't have confidence. There's not separation. That's what's affecting these secondary reads as much as anything, in my opinion, Neil, is that I don't know if it's them not getting open or him not trusting it open or what, but he simply is not finding any other wide receiver. You know, we talked about him not throwing to the outside very much. Even when he throws to the outside, it's still going to Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore's only had 14 snaps this season where he's lined up outside of the hash marks or outside of the slot. And he's still been thrown at 8 times. Or he's 8 receptions.
I've got a few thoughts.
Yeah, sure.
One, we talked about Braylon Sanders, and we asked Matt about, hey, what does it mean for you to get him back? And I thought his answer was fascinating. He said, it's another receiver I can trust. Now, was he throwing the other guys under the bus? No. But he was telling the truth. I went back and watched Southeastern Louisiana. I'm trying to make myself do that this year. Go back and watch games that I covered, watch them carefully, watch them slowly, just for my own understanding. And so I watched that game again. And let me preface this. I feel like I have to preface this. I'm not a quarterback. My next game as an offensive coordinator will be my first. There's a decent chance that I'm not completely informed on what I'm saying. I have run this by some people. I think I'm on to something. I think he is getting into a bad habit, which is pre-snap in his mind, he's made up his mind, I'm going here. And it's taken him out of going through his progressions. Now, that's pretty typical for a young quarterback, especially a young quarterback who is trying not to be Shea Patterson, which is, oh, pardon my language here, oh, shit, there's pressure, I'm running. Oh, shit, target number 1's covered, I'm running. He's trying not to do that. And so, but he's getting locked in on target 1. He's forcing some throws. He got lucky a couple of times against Southeastern Louisiana. That just, quite frankly, their DBs weren't that good. Otherwise, he would have had some pick issues. But I don't think he trusts the other receivers yet. I don't think if you listen to him carefully and listen to what he's saying, I do think there's a certain degree of, in practice, they're not consistent enough. They all have flashes. They all do things. And again, these are all kids, young guys. They all have flashes. They all do some things. But they don't do it consistently enough for him in the heat of the moment to go, I feel like I can go here. And so he's locked in on Elijah Moore. I keep waiting for it. This is the weekend. These next 2 weekends, we're going to see it, I think. 2 teams with good secondaries are going to try to trick Matt Corral into thinking Elijah Moore is open when he's not.
Yeah, Arkansas just wasn't good enough.
They weren't good enough, and they had a hard time getting pressure. Cal's pretty good at getting to the quarterback. They've got some pretty good defensive linemen, got some edge guys, got a really good middle linebacker who's an excellent player, an NFL prospect, a really good player. And then they've got veterans in that secondary who have played a lot of football against good quarterbacks. This is going to be interesting. That's the interesting chess match. Rich Rodriguez, who knows Cal well, has to figure out, and Jacob Peeler, who's coached against those guys every day in practice a couple of years ago, got to figure out a way to take some of the pressure off Corral, take some of the pressure off Elijah Moore, spread the football around. But the receivers have to do their part too. It's not just, hey, Matt's got to – no, it's Matt completed passes to, 10 different people the other night? I mean, he's spreading the ball around. Different people have to – but you got to have some consistency, and they don't have it yet from those young guys, which is – it's game 4. That's it. It's 4 games. That's not a lot. But you're right. I think the analytics show you that he's locking in on his primary target. And so when that primary target is open, he's delivering the ball, and they're getting production out of it. When the primary target isn't there, and he has to then go to option 2, option 3, he's either tentative, it's not happening fast enough in his mind, or he doesn't trust it. And that's leading to a lack of success in that realm. And if he can't get that fixed, eventually the good teams that they're going to run into here soon are going to take away option 1, and it's going to become pretty problematic.
Yes, Ole Miss completed passes to 10 different people on Saturday against CeeLa. Let's see, Elijah Moore had 7 catches, but then Jonathan Mingo had 3. Phillips, Pellerin, Drummond 2 each, and then Knight, Ely, Cooley, Battle, and Gregory with 1 each.
Drummond is the guy to watch for. He had a couple called back, and he had an offensive pass interference call that I thought it was the right call. Some people didn't think it was. I thought it was a good call. But regardless, Corral went to him, targeted him several times. So there is some trust being built there, and he certainly has the body to do it. And he's an older kid. He's not 18 or 19. He's 20. There is a difference, y'all. I mean, between a 21-year-old kid and an 18-year-old kid. There's a difference physically, strength-wise, getting separation, being able to play the ball. And these guys are going up against veteran DBs. These are juniors and seniors in that Cal secondary.
The other thing, too, and we keep talking about it as a negative because he can't find anybody else and it is what it is. But I will tell you, Elijah Moore has become elite really fast. It all speaks to just how good he has gotten and how quickly.
Yes.
I mean, he's a top 4 or 5 wide receiver in this league right now.
Absolutely.
It's him and Judy and the kid at LSU, who I can't remember his name right now.
I would disagree with that. And maybe the other kid at Alabama whose name's escaping me right now.
Well, Alabama has like 14, but whatever.
Well, Alabama legitimately has 3 or 4 NFL wide receivers on its roster.
Yeah. Judy wasn't even listed as a starter on their first depth chart. It was an or next to it. And now, again, he played, but you get my point.
But he still played, even though he wasn't listed as a starter on the depth chart?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, wasn't it?
Yeah. Did you know South Carolina didn't even put out a depth chart this week?
Just nothing at all?
So, I don't even think they're going to play. Take Missouri, because I don't know that Carolina, if you don't have a depth chart, you can't play.
I know you're making a joke right now, but I was just pointing this out. Justin Jefferson was the kid from LSU that has a huge grade. Right now, per Pro Football Focus, the top 3 wide receivers in the SEC are Jefferson, Elijah Moore, and Jerry Jeudy. There's a couple other guys that are on that list, but they haven't had enough targets for me to factor them in. But Jefferson, Jeudy, and Moore are the top grades to this point.
Yeah, see, you could make the argument to me that Elijah is as good as the second receiver in the league today, and I'd buy it. I mean, if you tell me I have one dude, I'm taking Jeudy.
Well, yeah, I get that. Everybody is.
But after that, if you tell me I can have one receiver in the league and it can't be Jeudy, I'm giving serious consideration to Elijah Moore. And he doesn't.
Huh, okay.
Interesting this weekend. He's going up against a couple of corners who they're good at coverage. They play with a lot of confidence, a lot of that edge that you typically see from good SEC cornerbacks. Short memories. They're physical, smart. Be interesting to see him go against those guys. I mean, he's gone against very talented DBs before and thrived, so it won't be an issue, but it'll be fun to watch. Cal's secondary is legit. It's really good.
I had something I'll find in a second that I thought was pretty interesting along the lines of that, and just can't find it while we're doing this, so I'll locate it and might put it on the board.
Secondary who would play at Alabama.
Do what now?
Cal has guys in their secondary who would play at Alabama.
You win the game by not letting their offense do anything beyond what their offense is capable of doing. That's how you win the game. Because their offense is bad.
Yeah.
It's not even really okay. It's bad.
No, it's bad. It's they don't beat themselves much offensively. They're careful about their quarterback's tentative right now. That's been the complaint with him, is that he had a really good camp, and for whatever reason during the season he has regressed. He's not making plays that they say are there for him. He's
taking off and running. That's what he's doing.
Taking off and running. He's pulling the ball down. He's kind of got the yips.
That's a problem.
So if you're Ole Miss, you want to continue that. You want to get him off to a bad start, and get the yips to kick in. You don't want him to get into any kind of a routine, and you want to take that running game away and put the ball in his hands and hope he makes a mistake. And I think Cal's going to do that deal where they say, we don't think Ole Miss can score a lot on us. Let's not give them this thing. Let's make them earn it. And so you get back into, at that point, does Rodriguez say, well, hell, we got to go for it a little bit. We got to take some chances, got to do some things. Or does he get super conservative? That's why I love the under in this. The temptation, I think, for both offenses is going to be, let's button this thing up.
Well, and like I said, the unders have hit for both teams 5 and 6 times, respectively.
Both teams punt the ball pretty well. That kind of thing.
Just a thought for you there.
Yeah, just kind of one of those deals where I think it's going to be tempting for both teams to say, hey, let's just see what happens here. Let's go slow.
Yeah. All right, we'll continue. Might look at the Cal quarterback a little more in a minute. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Master Cuts, premium lawn care throughout northern Mississippi, but a lot more as well. Master Cuts will build your custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces with paper patios, forestry mulching, and much more. The patch your dream backyard easier than you think. You can go online at gomastercuts.com for a free quote, or get that same free quote at 662-607-7773. Again, that's gomastercuts.com.
Also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry's an Oxford-based RE/MAX legacy realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Savannah Square, Oxford, is also a really big part of what he's doing now. It is 0.7 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square, conveniently located east of North Lamar, just a short stroll from the Midtown Shopping Center. You can check out the model home this weekend if you're coming up at 215 William Street. There are also several properties that are in various stages of completion. So if you're interested, and if you're thinking about relocating to Oxford, retiring to Oxford, whatever the case may be, this is a place you really ought to look. SavannahSquareOxford.com or 662-801-5621. Also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. Go in. Test drive one today. Tell Gene and Sandy that you heard about Grenada Nissan on this podcast or at rebelgrove.com, and you'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about putting together a special trip for the holidays, for next spring break, if you're already starting to think about next summer, because God knows it's cooled off so much that we're all thinking about summertime already as we try to brave these frigid temperatures here in a week before fall. It's John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. You give him a call, 901-494-3387. You say, hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing. Here are kind of my parameters. Here's my budget. And then just chill. He'll give you a lot of options that you would not find on your own. You don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. There's no commitment till you sign a contract. So let him give you some options. See what's out there. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Later today, we'll drop a Mind on My Money podcast that is sponsored by Pinnacle Trust. The topic today, life insurance. Nobody wants to think about life insurance. Nobody wants to talk about life insurance. You need life insurance. We talk life insurance on this episode of the podcast, brought to you by Pinnacle Trust, where investing is treated like a commodity and decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you. They'll listen to your goals, study your expenses, and they'll put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. Pinnacle Trust, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee.
So here's a interesting thing. I pulled up Cal's, or the Pac-12 stats for the stuff that I was looking at with Matt Corral a second ago. You spoke of the tentativeness for Chase Garbers, the Cal quarterback. This might speak to it as much as anything else. When he's in the pocket for more than 2.5 seconds, he's been sacked 10 times this season. 10. He's not getting rid of the ball, and he's not getting out of the pocket. He's a sitting duck back there.
So I watched their Washington game. They won for 2 reasons. The running back was really good. Now he's a little dinged up, and he's questionable this weekend. And if he can't go, that is a big blow for Cal. He's a legitimately good back. And they won because their defense just played lights out. They almost lost because the quarterback was just shaky. And he did it again Saturday against North Texas. Their defense won the game. The defense was very solid. Their offense didn't do very much, in large part because the quarterback's not trusting himself right now. And he's holding the ball. If his first option's not open, it's almost like Chase finding a good quarterback is hard.
Neal, these numbers are even crazier than I thought. If Ole Miss can knock out his first progression and wherever he's looking early and make him have to go down the field and do something different, I mean, he's done nothing. This might be the most telling part is he has had 70 dropbacks where he stood in the pocket for more than 2.5 seconds. He's only thrown the ball 38 times. He doesn't even throw it half the time if you can make him wait 2.5 seconds.
No, you got to pull up their stats. He's their third. He's got the third most carries on their team,
and that's not a good thing.
No, they run the ball. He's taking off and running a lot.
Just freaking out.
His numbers running the ball. If I can find them here. I know this is a bad pod, but I'm trying. 3 games, he's rushed 38 times, net of 130 yards, long of 19, getting 43 yards a game. Chris Brown's their lead back. He's legitimately good. 65 carries, 324 yards, getting 5 yards a carry, 2 TDs, 108 a game. Marcel Dancy is kind of a change of pace guy, got some speed, 23 carries. So Garbers is their second leading rusher by volume. That is not their offense.
Another thing, too, is with Mike McIntyre going to stop the run, that's going to be their main focus, especially against a team like Cal, where you want Garbers to throw the ball and try to beat you and not let these backs get you. Garbers is not terrible throwing the ball down the field. They don't do a ton of it, so the sample size is a little shaky. However, on 8 passes where the ball has traveled more than 20 yards down the field, he's 4 of 8 with 2 touchdowns and 120 yards. That comes out to 135 NFL passer rating, which is 3rd in the Pac-12, just barely behind Justin Herbert for 2nd.
Here's what's fascinating with Cal this weekend. It's really an interesting game. Cal's going to look at the Ole Miss film and say, what? We got to go vertical. Their corners are susceptible. And if you watch the game Saturday, Ole Miss's corners are susceptible. Hey, Chase, we need you to do this. Does he trust himself enough to do it? Or is he tentative? Hold the ball, pat. And Ole Miss has some guys off the edge that can create turnovers. Fascinating part of the game. One coach, Rodriguez, is trying to build some confidence with his quarterback. The other coach, the offensive guy at Cal, hey, dude, I need you to make this play. They're going to press him. Because obviously if you can take the top off the defense, it's going to open up the running game. And they're fairly decent running the football.
They are.
But if you can't run it, and Ole Miss, Mike McIntyre makes no bones about it. This isn't complicated. We are going to take the run away. Because if we give up, like he said the other day, if you give up 300 yards a game passing, it means they're throwing it a lot. You might get some picks. You might do some things. You give up 300 yards on the ground, you got your ass beat. Period. There's nothing else to hear. And Ole Miss has been pretty good against the run so far. Not great, but pretty good. Pretty solid. They're going to try to take the run away and put the ball in Garbers' hands. And in many ways, Cal's going to say, hey, dude, the ball's in your hands. You won the job in camp. Go downfield. We've got receivers. Their leading receiver. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. Their leading receiver has 7 catches.
Is that really true?
I've got their stats in front of me as of September the 14th. Kikoa Crawford. Apologies to Mr. and Mrs. Crawford if I mispronounced your son's name. It's not intentional. He played 3 games. He started 2, 7 catches, 146 yards, 2 TDs. Nico Remigio, 3 games, started 2, 6 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown. Chris Brown, the running back, 6 catches, 39 yards. He's a good player. Brown's a good player. Jordan Duncan, who's a Mississippi kid, 3 games, 3 starts, 4 catches, 60 yards. Dancy, the other running back, who's also a good player, 2 good backs. 3 games, 4 catches, 30 yards. Jeremiah Hawkins, 3 catches, 17 yards. Gavin Reinwald has started 2 games, 2 catches, 30 yards. Mackay Polk, 2 catches, 13 yards. Then a couple of kids have 1 catch. That's it. As a team, they've caught 36 passes.
Not good.
No.
Frankly, really bad.
Tells you a lot. Yeah, Remigio is also the punt return guy, getting 18.5 yards per return. Pretty good.
It's simple what Ole Miss has to do. We'll see if they can do it. I mean, it's right there.
Not super complicated.
No, not at all. One of the more one-dimensional teams that Ole Miss will face this season, frankly. A very one-dimensional team.
Yeah, the punter's getting about 40 yards a kick.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever. It's fine. Not giving up a lot of return.
We never talk about it. Mike Brown's been really good.
Been all SEC caliber.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah. Field goal kicker is 7 for 8, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
He's 7 for 8. The one he has missed was in the 40 to 49 range. He's 3 for 4 from 40 to 49, as long as 47. So he's been solid. They're a good team. They're not great. They're beatable. They're good. Defensively, they're really talented on all 3 levels of defense. They've got playmakers on the line, a playmaker at linebacker, and a really good secondary.
If you told me the heat got to them a little bit, I would buy it by the middle to late second half. The time thing is doing nothing for me.
No.
The heat, okay, sure. You can't simulate that.
No, they're flying over early tomorrow, and they're not going to be completely on Central Time Zone. But come on, man, they're young dudes. The alarm's going to go off, and they're going to play football. They did that for an entire camp, just like Ole Miss did. The alarm goes off, you eat something, you get taped up, you go play. They practiced at 9 in the morning for a month.
Yeah, it's going to be all right.
I don't buy that at all. If you told me that, like, I'm with you. The heat, the humidity, it's different. Like Matt Corral talked about that last night. It's on the video. It's up at rebelgrove.com. Matt made the comment. It's different. You don't adjust to it. Hell, we live here, and it gets to us. I went out and ran in it 2 days ago, and I was like 3-4 miles in, and like, this is stupid. And I've lived in the South my whole life. Hell, I lived in Mobile for 12 years. It's the hottest place on earth. It just, the heat's going to get to them. Is it going to get to them enough to impact a football game? It'd be one thing if it was a bunch of intramural kids. These are kids that are in pretty good shape. So it'll get to them some, and if the game is super close, it might make a difference. But the time and stuff, nah. It's not like they took a train or they're taking a bus. I mean, they're flying an airplane. They'll be all right.
Not leaving on Monday afternoon on the rail system, were they?
Oh, I mean, come on. Stop.
Stop in Topeka for the night.
Boy, that trip's really going to take their legs out.
It's 3 hours.
Yeah. Well-conditioned athletes in an airplane for 4 hours is affecting nothing.
Private.
Yeah, come on. Being fed and cared for the whole time.
Yeah.
Stop.
Leave at 8, there at 11. Whatever. Well, I guess they'll leave at 8 and be there at 1. Okay, well.
Yeah, they'll leave at 8 and be there at 1 in the afternoon. They'll be okay. They'll get off the plane. Everybody will stretch out a little bit, and do their little hotel thing, and they'll have a practice somewhere. And
get some food.
Eat something, stay up, have some meetings, go to bed on the Central Time Zone and wake up on the Central Time Zone and then have a Friday. They'll be all right. That's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, they're leaving 1 extra day early.
Yeah, which is what Ole Miss did when they flew out there.
Yeah.
You know, are they going to acclimate to the heat in one day? Of course not.
No.
I haven't acclimated to the heat in 49 years.
No, there'll be some point Friday where they go, oh my God, from a heat standpoint. But
it is supposed they are catching a break if the forecast is right.
Oh, really?
The humidity's dropping off. It's dropping into the 80s. It's still going to be hot, but it's not going to be like it's been the last few days where it's felt like we live like inches from the sun.
It is September. Yesterday was September the 17th, and at one point, and I get it's on concrete and whatever, my car said 98 at one point yesterday.
Yeah. It's been incredibly hot. I think it's supposed to drop off some. It's still going to be hot. They're going to get hot. Middle
Fall
of the day.
is here.
Yeah, sure. You know my theory. This isn't even a global warming theory and all that stuff.
You think we're getting a uniclimate?
No, my theory is that the calendar has backed up a month over the years.
Just from a heat standpoint or both?
Everything.
Okay. So it's colder longer, too.
Well, you know this because you cover baseball. April was cold. April, when 15, 20 years ago, was not cold.
So we're losing our good seasons.
Well, it's just changing.
Well,
What used to be September is
now August.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, vice versa, whatever.
We get the August weather in September.
Yeah.
We get the September weather in October, and it starts to cool in November instead of October. Watch, October's going to be hot. October there used to be a little chill in the air at times. I bet we don't get much of that until November. And then December used to be really cold, and now it's not quite. And then February and March are the cold months. They have spring football in March, and it's not spring football. They go inside because it's too damn cold out there.
And we didn't have a crazy hot summer until July.
May was mild. June was mild. July was not mild.
And now
August
we're getting
has
killed.
not been mild. And August was not mild, and September's ridiculous. That's my theory, that we're backed up a month. It's really scientific. I went to ULM. We're really smart people. We do lots of reading and writing and math and stuff, and it's my theory. It's my hypothesis.
You did hand out a master's degree during the post-game press conference on Saturday night.
She counted to 10 repeatedly, and I said to her, "Can you count from 10 backwards?" And she said yes. And at ULM, that would get you a master's degree.
And she did it. 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1.
I told her just to call ULM and tell them she did it, and they'll send her the degree. A lot cheaper than going to the University of Phoenix, I'll tell you that.
What's it in?
Anything you want it to be in. Counting.
Counting.
Master's in counting.
Okay. Take our...
At ULM, it would be a master's in accountancy, because being accountancy, you could say, "See, I can count." And they'd say, "Well, accountancy, you get your degree."
There you go. Take our final break. Tell you about G&M Pharmacy there on South Lamar and Oxford, 662-236-2222. And with flu season approaching quickly, as Neil talking about calendars backing up and stuff, Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy have flu vaccines available with a $0 copay. That's free on most insurance plans. No one has time to wait in line for the overworked pharmacists at the chain drugstores. So stop by one of the locally owned pharmacies where you have multiple pharmacists available, dedicated to getting you in and out as quickly and painlessly as possible with Tyson Drugs on the Square in Holly Springs or G&M on South Lamar. Again, that is 662-236-2222.
We'll have picks out in the morning. Mine are in, Zach's are in, Chase's and Jeffrey's are not yet in, at least as of my last check. They are brought to you by Southern Craft Stove and Tap. It's located just off Highway 7 on Sisk Avenue. Southern Craft Stove and Tap places an emphasis on food and atmosphere, mixing the quality of fine dining with the come-as-you-are environment, featuring 30 craft beers and offering a high-quality selection of cuisine and libations. Southern Craft Stove and Tap has you covered for any occasion. Join them for lunch, dinner, Sunday brunch, or have your favorites catered out. Catering orders placed online currently receive $25 off any order totaling $100 or more. So avoid the chaos of parking on the square and head over and experience carefully crafted dishes with your favorite Southern ingredients. Southern Craft Stove and Tap, Highway 7 and Sisk Avenue in Oxford. Searching for that unique way to brand your company swag? Have a special event to memorialize? Dead Soxy has you covered with their custom sock program. Click on the custom socks link. They'll walk you through the entire process, from the complimentary digital mock-up before your order is placed to delivery, logistics, and even custom packaging. Dead Soxy is your place to create a gift they will use time and time again. And with all-inclusive pricing, no upcharges or fine print, the custom sock design process is as simple as it gets. So head over to deadsoxy.com. That's deadsoxy.com/custom. Remember, you can still save 30% on general orders with the promo code Rebel Grove. And as always, stay Soxy. We're also brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. They're everywhere. If you want them to come to you, book an appointment, time for a private fitting, you can do it. Send them an email, info@bluedeltajeans.com. I saw David Ross, the future Cubs manager, on the Cubs-Reds ESPN broadcast last night. He was wearing his Blue Deltas. You can get yours as well. It is the official jean of the Ryder Cup. We've been telling you for a while that Blue Delta is perfect for golf tournaments. This partnership makes it where it couldn't be a more ideal product to bring to your golf club for tournaments and events. And the Gino is out in the open now. They're pre-selling this fabric. It's soft. It's comfortable. They've got a great group of colors. The sewing will begin on Halloween for the Ginos, so you don't want to miss this opportunity. Reserve your spot in the first run of this great new fabric line from Blue Delta Jeans. Also brought to you by Jackson Beer Company. They have 10 beer taps for sampling and growler fill. Mix your own pack of beers from the single shelf. More than 350 beers to choose from. Ask about the kegs to go. Join their text program, JBEER, to 51660. It's 1801 Jackson Avenue West, 662-638-3642. Call ahead of time. Tell them what you want. They'll have it ready to go if you are in a hurry as you head out to the Grove or wherever you're doing your tailgating for Ole Miss and Cal. And if you're coming to town this weekend, you're thinking about making Oxford a retirement home, thinking about looking for someplace really incredible that a lot of people don't really know about just yet. Splinter Creek. It's a gated conservation community located 8 miles southwest of Oxford, 75 minutes from the Memphis airport. SplinterCreekMS.com is the website. Give them a call, 601-898-2772. Schedule your tour with Tom Smith Land and Homes agents. You can check out the model home, which is fantastic. You will get a tour of the land, 34 lakefront lots, 650 acres of lakes, pine and hardwood forest, private roads, well-maintained running, cycling, and hiking trails. There's just so much there. It's absolutely perfect for weekends, for summers. You'll love it once you check it out. SplinterCreekMS.com, 601-898-2772.
So you got a Florida State mention in your mailbag about them versus Ole Miss. I'm kind of returning to prominence. Steve Spurrier making a joke at Willie Taggart's sake yesterday. A Florida student tweets out, just told Steve Spurrier, my dad's an FSU fan, and while anticipated getting slapped upside the head with the paper he had rolled in his hand, instead he said, quote, tell your dad Taggart is a great coach and FSU should offer him a 10-year extension. Then yesterday, the Orlando Sentinel reporting that a 4-year-old has set up a lemonade stand with the hopes of buying out Taggart in Florida State. It's going well for the Noles, really. It's excellent at this point. So,
unbelievable how far that program has fallen in such a short period of time.
Yeah. The father, an FSU graduate and high-level booster Daniel Grant, has since deleted the social media post promoting the lemonade stand because of backlash. Quote, it was a joke. People need to relax. By the way, my children also raised over $10,000 for hurricane relief in Panama City. The lemonade stand was an attempt to teach my son about not complaining if you aren't willing to help fix the problem. A neighbor snapped a pic of it, and here we are. So,
football's not a joke.
I mean, my gosh.
Serious stuff.
I mean, come on, guys. Like, it's a 4-year-old with a bunch of lemonade, and he's holding a sign that says Free Willie, lemonade, $20 a glass. All proceeds will go toward Willie Taggart's $20 million buyout. Over 21 gets a free shot and a hug. good.
Yeah, come on, have some fun. It's all right.
Yeah. Oh gosh. 6-9 at Florida State. Let's see. All time 13-43 against teams with winning records. 53-59 lifetime record. 473 winning percentage, and $30 million on a 5-year deal. Willie Taggart.
It's a great country we live in.
Only in America, as Don King would say.
Yep.
And what was the promoter in Rocky V? George Washington or something.
I can't remember.
What was his name? What was the Don King lookalike's name?
That movie never existed.
I know I'm typing, people. I'm looking up the guy's name in Rocky V.
That was on the other day, and I could not flip away fast enough.
You didn't even watch it?
Rocky V?
Yeah, at all? Like, you don't turn it on for like 5 minutes just to laugh at it?
No, it was on like 1 minute, and it made me sad, and I turned.
Really?
Yes.
I typically will give it a minute just to laugh at it.
It
George Washington Duke.
George Washington Duke. It is an embarrassment to the Rocky franchise.
It's the continuity that bothers me. It's not even the bad acting, the bad storyline, the no need for it, how we could have stopped after Russia. It's the continuity that drives me insane.
It just wasn't the way to treat Rocky. He had just ended the Cold War. He didn't need to be in a street fight.
And you're giving him brain damage and making him broke.
He should have been on the cover of every magazine in the country, on everyone's cereal box.
Time Man of the Year.
Yes. A more realistic thing would have been he runs for president and wins.
President.
You laugh.
Okay. Okay, fair.
I mean, he had just avenged the death of Apollo Creed, defeated the invincible Ivan Drago in front of the Politburo on Christmas Day in Moscow, and finished with a speech that was in the same realm of 7 years ago. And I have a dream. I mean, it was one of those kind of speeches. The Soviets cheered him at the end.
This cat, Richard Gant, has had a 40-year acting career. He started in 1980. A couple different things. Still going. Right now, announced after 2019, even though he's been playing a TV series, Mr. Iglesias, with a bunch of people. The Appeal, he's playing Luke Jennings. This cat's going for 40 years.
Yeah, good for him.
Only in America, dude.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Just was not the way to treat Rocky.
It was not.
No.
They corrected it, sort of.
Kinda.
Still lost all his money, but
yeah, he's broke, running a restaurant.
He's beaten down.
Yeah.
In today's world, that dude with that history would have found some way to get money back again and be rich.
I think so.
In today's world. Do something. Might have done some reality TV. Might have done something else. Been all right.
I was glad they didn't have him remarry right away.
That would have been a little cheap.
Yeah, but they had
Adrian was still a buzzkill through much of the series, but
she redeemed herself in Rocky IV.
She did.
She did.
Showed up in Moscow.
She wasn't the best wife in the world, and frankly was a nag and a pain in the ass. But in Rocky IV, when he needed her, she was there. Frankly, twice. The 2 times that he ever really needed her, when he wasn't just carrying her, she was there. When she came out of the long coma thing that lasted 8 years, and she came out and said, just if you're going to fight him, win. And that's all he needed to hear.
Well, thank God, because we lost 25 minutes of our lives waiting on her to wake up, because that movie hit such a lull during that period to where you want to just turn it off.
Yeah, you wanted to say, just die already.
Wake up or die. Just get on with it. One or the other. I don't care.
Do something. And then in Rocky IV, when he needs her, she shows up in Russia, and it's like, let's get it done. Let's go to work. Because we're not going to beat this monster without being in phenomenal shape. Let's get it on.
You don't give her credit when she gives him the pep talk about when he's all sad before he gets into it heavy with Apollo toward the end of 3 too. You know, they have the conversation on the beach and he's moping around.
No, that was more. I mean, it's a good speech.
He moped a lot looking back.
Yeah, that
a
was
lot
more,
of moping for Rocky.
Yeah, that was more about Apollo going, look, we're going to run in the sand, okay? We're going to do this. You might as well just get with the program.
He didn't have the eye of the tiger yet. Couldn't get the eye.
Yeah, then they danced a lot on the beach, which was kind of, hey, I no problem with it, whatever. It was a weird moment.
Very jiffable moment.
Yeah, the dancing in the water, hugging each other and stuff was odd. It's odd. That's all. It's all, but not that there's anything wrong with that. It was just different. It wasn't what I expected.
This would require you to have actually seen the movie, so I may be just speaking to myself here. But I was listening to a Rewatchables, the Bill Simmons podcast, about Beverly Hills Cop this week.
Yeah.
You know, Sylvester Stallone was the first choice to play the Eddie Murphy character?
No.
Yes.
How?
Yes. What kind of different movie is that without Eddie Murphy?
Oh, no.
I mean, frankly, anyone else but Eddie Murphy. Yeah. But Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah. Rambo / Rocky Balboa? That'd be like Eddie Murphy playing Bruce Willis's role in Die Hard.
Well, they mentioned that he probably could play that role back then. That was funny. Funny you say that.
Eddie Murphy could have played that role?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Here's the better part, is Beverly Hills Cop. Again, if you like these old movies and have interest in them, the podcast is phenomenal. Bill Simmons does a great job with these. So he ad-libbed like 2/3 of the movie. Like, there'd be times with the script where the director's like, hey, can you just do something here? Here's kind of whatever. And Murphy, I mean, he's a great character actor. He'd just do it. And it won, either was nominated or won an Oscar for Best Screenplay, when 2/3 of it was just ad-libbed by Eddie Murphy. Shouldn't he have gotten the trophy?
Yes.
I mean, come on. I mean, dude had a run there that I'm not sure has been matched. Top 3 SNL character, and then that run of movies. It's crazy. So
he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's still around, but
oh yeah, well, he's making a ton to come back for Netflix.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I have not.
Did we talk about this?
Maybe we did. I can't keep up.
You don't remember everything we talked about over the last month?
I'm not sure I remember everything we talked about over the last hour.
Okay, well, fair enough. Yeah, apparently he's making a ton of money to come back with a Netflix special. Let's see. Reading here from IndieWire, so if it's wrong, sue them, not me. Eddie Murphy plotting stand-up return with Netflix special, says a report. The actor has talked about returning to stand-up for years. A reported $70 million Netflix payday could finally make it happen.
Wow. Yeah.
For $70 million, would you get back up and do some stand-up? If you're Eddie Murphy?
I'd pretty much do anything for $70 million. Like, you'd have to come up with some stuff to make me go to Outcast.
Eddie Murphy is the winner of the most grossed stand-up special of all time. He made $50.5 million in 1987 for Raw, which had an $8 million budget. So $8 million budget made $50.5.
Wow. $70 million after taxes. You're going to walk with 40-ish million.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much I wouldn't do.
Said the move makes sense given that Chris Rock received about $40 million and Dave Chappelle about $60 million for their Netflix special. And Eddie Murphy obviously has more name value than anyone in that realm. So, yeah, this is from July, so I haven't seen an update, but when I Googled it, that's the last thing to pop up. So.
It's fast.
Yeah, anyway. Okay, a lot at rebelgrove.com. Got a stuff with Cal, got the Matt Corral stuff, got the mailbag, and more, as well as plenty of scintillating conversation on the message board every single day. Tomorrow, we'll talk to Jeffrey. We'll talk to Trace Travers of the Cal Rival site as well. And you get more podcasts from the MPW Digital Network today also. So we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.